as I continue working on the next internet sensational review that will earn us millions of subscribers, I find myself deep in nostalgic thoughts. For my next video game review isn't just of a new game that could potentially blow chunks up a rhino's butthole and out its mouth, or possibly be as great as Jesus riding in on a unicorn, granting me all access passes to any video game convention of my choosing. But a game that also has nostalgic factors. The kind of factors that bring up the fondness of memories from our childhood youths, that formed us into the strong, successful people that we are today. Of course, I am thinking about Digimon!
Are you fucking serious?
Someone say Digimon? Oh, hey, Green Lantern, I didn't know you were a fan of this show, too! Oh, hell yeah, I was a big Digimon fan. I watched the first 3 seasons.
Psh, nerds.
Psh, you're just jealous because they came after you and they were more popular.
Bitch.
Back a million years ago, when Pokemon used to be a popular concept that was getting its start to success, there were other shows that were trying to garner the same audience as Pokemon. And, well, Digimon coincidentally happened to be one of them. However, it did have different roots.
Now, before we dive into the brand new video game, I do feel like we should at the very least explain a little bit about the Digimon show that the new game is based on, and what impact it had on the kids around the world at the time.
Wait, let me get ready. Okay, go.
You have to be a jerk.
It could be worse. I could be like all of the other internet rubs and try to murder you. Carry on.
Back in the 90s, there were these new little innovations or toys called Tamagotchis, or, well, virtual pets, to basically pass off the simulation of owning a real pet, except whereas in real life you would be arrested for training your pet to fight other pets, in the digital world it's all good. To further promote the virtual pets, a short 13-episode OVA series named Digimon was put into the production and released. Regardless of its animation at times being on the cheaper side, needless to say, the show was a huge hit, and it was then shifted into a show which had multiple seasons, continuing the story of the kids called the Digi-Destined who, from the real world, were sucked into an alternative dimension called the digital world, where each kid had their own individual Digimon monster who would be their friend and ally and fight with them on the battlefield when and if they would get into trouble while saving both worlds.
Digimon, your monsters, Digimon are the champions. Change into digital champions to save the digital world. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions.
Digimon into champions. Digimon into ultimate.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon.
Now, of course, as the show went on, the plots got more serious and the characters were more relatable. And even though over the years the cast has changed and the show might have been retconned once or twice, the first 2 iterations were the most popular, save for possibly the third one having its own share of followers too when it was eventually released.
We're not ashamed to admit it, we are big fans too, at least as far as the first 2 seasons. Following the characters, the Digimon, and the trials they had to go through, the show was a success for a reason. It wasn't Pokemon famous, but it was definitely a runner-up. Does it hold up? Well, yes and no. Honestly, you would have to watch a retrospective or 2. I'm sure they'll fill you in better than we would.
So here we are at the present day with a new Digimon All-Star Rumble for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The game, like its name suggests, features an all-star cast of classic Digimon characters ranging from the old series to the newest ones. So naturally, some of the characters I definitely recognize, like Agumon, Gabumon, Wargreymon, and Metal Garurumon, and so on, while others are kind of way beyond me, like Shoutmon, Darulumon, and, well, yeah. Upon the startup, you can select Story Mode, at which point you can choose a Digimon character to go through their own respective story. While the layouts and levels are generally the same, the Digimon encounters and each character's story will be different. So at the very least, there is some replayability. Not to be surprised, but the story mode isn't very long. It's not long at all, actually. It's similar to any arcade-style roster, but with a little level traveling to get from point A to point B. The story for each Digimon has some differences, but it usually comes down to the fact that the digital world has been far too peaceful as of late, and everyone, frankly, is kinda bored. And so a tournament was orchestrated and being held to determine the best Digimon hero and to protect the digital world from a secret threat. As you travel the short levels, activating levers and switches to open further paths, random non-playable Digimon characters will occasionally appear and try to fight you. During the final parts of the game, it's possible for them to gang up on you, but if you can stick and move and use your powers wisely, defeating them should be very little trouble.
At the end of each stage, you'll meet a familiar Digimon whom will act as the boss and will battle you. Once you defeat him, you will move on to the next stage. Rinse and repeat. As you progress and defeat more, they will become unlockable and playable for their own stories and versus matches. As you play, you gain cards and money. The cards you can equip to certain Digimon to increase their odds in battle by hindering the opponents, which they will self-activate upon finishing a combo. The money can be used in the collectible zone to purchase even more cards. Collect them all, kids!
In the versus matches, you can play up to 4 players. There's a variety of versus match challenges too, from capture the flag, to stock, to get rid of the bombs, to the last man standing, and others. During the battles, each character has their own set of combos and attacks, making for some individuality between them. There's a weak and heavy attack that can be used for combos, a ranged attack using your Digimon's signature move, and when their energy gauge is full, you can press both shoulder buttons for them to digivolve. The evolution lasts for roughly about 15 seconds, I would say, and each new evolution has, again, their own moves and combos. If you deal enough damage to peak their power, pressing the shoulder buttons again will have the evolution execute a finisher. You can easily draw comparisons to Power Stone or Super Smash Bros. For similarities, including the stock items spawning on the battlefield to help the player who gets those. You can find items like food, weapons, and I'm pretty sure you get the gist. And lastly, there's an air battle mechanic. While charging your launch attack and hitting the other Digimon with it, the attack will launch them in the air, allowing you to pull off some pretty cool combos. There's only one major flaw with this. You will rarely ever pull it off. I promise, if you're playing amongst a friend or a group, none of you are ever going to pull this move off. Why? Because it's the most easily telegraphed move, easily dodgeable, easily blockable, and easily stopped. You may be able to hit the CPU with it fine enough because they don't have a brain, and rarely present a real challenge anyway. While I do remember fondly of Digimon, and I think the game is pretty cool, it's far from perfect. Digimon All-Star Rumble is as generic as they come. It was made on a small budget, there's hardly any real motivation, and unless you have family or friends to play with regularly, this game is going to get very boring very fast. And sad to say, there is no online multiplayer, which is really odd since a game like this would be perfect for such a mechanic. It's a game made solely for the fans of the show who, probably like myself, would be wanting more out of a game like this, and made for kids with very minimal requirements. It's by no means a large game, and it just doesn't have a whole lot to offer. The roster is very small compared to the worlds of Digimon characters that there are. There's no Patamon, which was really weird considering he was part of the first group, and what actually would have been a better idea and an amazing game would be a game going through the stories of Digimon Adventure with an overworld hub reviving the series we remember. Sad to say, unless you're a real hardcore fan, Digimon All-Star Rumble is a bargain bin purchase. But hey, at least the graphics are pretty nice, since I know that's what matters most to a lot of so-called gamers, right? Because that's what makes a game good, right?
I knew that Digimon stuff was a bunch of... Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, the game is only $40, and it's exclusively for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360.
Ain't missing much, but it's okay.
You know what? You guys have made me a believer. Let's celebrate by listening to some music. Oh yeah, so be sure to follow the Brotherhood of Gaming on Facebook, Twitter, and all that other stuff. And don't forget to thumbs up the video and subscribe. And gee, what else does he say? And Rob is awesome. I'll see you in the next video.
Look into the past as we head for the future to reclaim the digital world. With faith in ourselves and trust in each other, we live by the lessons we've learned. As we work towards one solution through a spirit